Hi, I'm Stephanie Laska. I lost 140 pounds and created Dirty Lazy Keto. Thanks for joining me here on the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy the show. Keto foods that cause weight gain. Keto foods that cause weight gain. That's like a mean topic, isn't it? You're like, oh, that one's mean. But we better talk about it because some of these are keto foods, right? They're keto friendly. You think they're all fabulous and perfect and you're enjoying them and you're trotting along and then bam, that's a gong. It was a bad gong. Let me try again. That's better. Then a big old gong happens and suddenly you've gained some weight. So I want to focus today on 10 different foods I'm going to zero in on. These are foods that during my journey of losing 140 pounds, here I am, these are foods that gave me trouble along the way. So I'm going to let you in on my little tips and tricks here and point out these 10 foods. That way, at the very least, you can be super cautious around them and kind of know what to look out for. So I want to give you these tips and tricks, okay? Because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did and then be like, dang it, and all angry. Because you know what happens when we gain weight? We get really frustrated, even if it's like this much, right? Like this tiny much. This tiny much. We all panic and freak out. So I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to give you 10 shout outs, 10 show and tell examples today. Stay tuned for the whole episode so you don't miss out. Okay? So let's get started. These are keto foods that can cause weight gain. We didn't spin the wheel. We better do that real quick. You're like, what? Are you new? Is it your first time? You're like, what is she doing? I want to spin the wheel because I'm going to choose someone from the comments today to win a prize. And this is the prize. Can you see it back there? I'm going to get out of the way. Ooh. How exciting is that? It's the brand new book, just came out. It is the Keto Diet Restaurant Guide is your prize today in paperback. Thank you. I'm going to just show you what the cover looks like. It's the Keto Diet Restaurant Guide. It is a huge book. It has 65 restaurants where we zero in on what is low carb to order. Everything in the book is 10 grams net carbs or less, including drinks. There's even some desserts, appetizers, all sorts of fun restaurants that are all across the United States. And some are in Canada, but I got to be transparent about that. So if you would like to win that prize, please write it in the comments. Be like, pick me. Or you can just be involved in the conversation. And that's how I choose people. So let's get going here. First up, here is a big, giant danger product I want you to think about. Dun, dun, dun. These are protein bars. Now I'm holding up a box of Kirkland, which is Costco brand protein bars, which I love. This is the cookie dough and chocolate brownie assortment pack, which are delicious. I had to go there yesterday to buy them just for you. But here is what a lot of people don't know about. In earlier videos that I've done and in my earlier life with Dirty Lazy Keto, I ate these pretty regularly. And more often than not, I would have experiences sometimes where I would end up gaining weight. And that would be very upsetting, or my weight would fluctuate. And here's what's weird, you guys. Here's the old examples. These are expired. And if I look on the package of these, it says they have 3 grams net carbs. And I used to think, that's not bad. I could handle that, 3. This one's 5. You know, it was a little bit of wiggle room. But then all of a sudden one day I woke up and lo and behold, they changed the packaging. I was like, excuse me? And now if you look at the fine print, it says they have 10 grams of net carbs per protein bar. I'm sorry. There was no announcement. There was no phone call. There was nothing. It was just in teeny tiny letters here on the bottom. And in fact, it was a YouTube viewer that caught the error and pointed it out. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was very upsetting. So keep that in mind, you guys, that things change. Sometimes our manufacturers change their ingredients. Sometimes they change their math, apparently. I don't know. Isn't that crazy? No, I just hit the mic. Is it still working? I want to look over here and check and make sure my light's on. Because that's not pretty when I turn it off. I'm going to put my glasses on and get all serious about this one. I do not want to have it turn off. Okay. The light's still on, so I'm thinking it's good. Let me know, okay? I'm waiting for these comments to reimburse me. Oh no, I froze. Hopefully I'm better. Okay. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Okay. Whew. Woo! All right. Thank you so much. Anyway, here's another example of keto protein bars. Just to think about, there's so many on the market, right? We all love them. Let's get real. We all love them. Don't be lying. There's not one of us out there. You know why we love them? There's Quest, there's Monk Pack, there's a bunch of them, right? And a lot of them are lower in net carbs than that Costco example I just showed you. But here is the problem with protein bars. In general, all brands, shapes, and sizes. Number one, they're teensy tiny. They're not very big. Number two, they taste like candy, right? Which is a good and a bad thing because we might tend to just eat these all the time as a meal replacement. We might use them as a crutch or, continue some of our old bad habits like eating candy late at night or chocolate and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about. These can be a whole bag of worms. So know yourself. Do you? And if they start becoming a problem, cut them out and see if that helps your weight loss or just kind of fixes things. Do you agree? Tell me your experience. Maybe it doesn't affect you, and that's good. These are just 10 products I want you to consider. It's not a hard and fast. Some people are not affected, but some people are. So that's why I'm pointing out these products for you today. Now, number two, this one will make you laugh, and it's going to mess up my hair, and I'm doing it just for you people. Here it comes. I've been waiting on this one for a long time. Oh, yeah, it's happening. This was my son's Halloween costume a long time ago. Does it look fancy? Are you taking a screenshot? Okay, what is number two? Can you guess? Do you need more of a hint than this giant costume I just put on my head? Let me show you another example. So if my giant yellow costume I just stuck on my head, or this big, giant, beautiful tray with bright colors didn't give you the answer to number two, then you must not be listening very closely. Because I am trying to tell you that fruit is number two. Fruit is and can be something that causes us to gain weight. Now, why is that, you guys? Which one of these fruits would you pick out if you were going to eat on Dirty Lazy Keto? I've got some choices here. I've got cantaloupe, I've got green melon, I have pineapple, and I have strawberries. Which one would you pick? Now, can you have fruit on Dirty Lazy Keto? You tell me. Have you been doing your homework? Of course you can have fruit on Dirty Lazy Keto. Of course you can. But keep in mind that some fruit is going to have more fructose, which is basically sugar, people. It's a type of sugar. Some fruit is going to have more sugar than others. So choose wisely. If you're choosing a banana or pineapple, woo, girl or guy, you might be in for the shock of your life because that is going to raise your blood sugar. It's going to cause all sorts of problems. You might have mood swings. You might get knocked out of ketosis. You might want to start overeating. You know what I mean? So I tend to choose fruits that are lower in net carb. But even still, you guys, here's the issue. Even though we might, think, okay, well, I'm going to have some fruit and I'm going to choose a lower net carb fruit. I'll just have some lime, which is a very sad example of fruit that is low carb, but it's true. Or you might just have a higher net carb fruit, but have a teensy tiny bit of it. That's a strategy as well. But either way, you have to be super mindful because, like I said, it can raise your blood sugar. The fruit can be super hard to stop eating. For me, like strawberries, even though they're like 8 grams net carbs per cup of whole strawberries, I could eat much, much, much more than a cup. I could end up eating, 3 cups, right? Like if you wanted to just have a little bit of a melon or something that's higher net carb, I get it. But realize that could end up causing weight gain. It's easy to overeat. It can affect your blood sugar, can knock you out of ketosis, etc. You with me? Tell me which fruit is difficult for you to eat on a low-carb, keto-friendly diet. Tell me. For me, I think it was cherries was hard to let go of. I just can't go there. Any of those tropical fruits can be really triggering for me where I just want to eat them all. Way too many. Blueberries can be very high. They're about 18 grams net carbs for a whole cup. So I tend to eat just a little bit of them, like a couple tablespoons, and I'll put it on my yogurt. That way I'm still enjoying the deliciousness of the fruit, but not so much that it's causing me to gain weight, get out of ketosis, go on a sugar craving binge, blah, blah, blah. So that's number 2. Let's keep going. Number 3 is a little bit more exciting, I think. Well, it could be then equally as exciting. Depends on you. I'm going to show you low carb ice cream or sugar-free ice cream. Now, there's so many products out there, you guys, right? Which one's your favorite? Do you have one? Do you like Enlightened? Do you like Breyers? Which kind of sugar-free or low carb ice cream do you make your own? And tell me, is this problematic for you? I mean, this is keto friendly, right? Some of these are very low in carb. You look at the package, you're like, well, this is fabulous. You know? Let me look at this one here in front of me. This one here, I just bought these at Costco. These only, for 1 bar, have, let's see, 8. It's 12 grams total carbohydrates, subtract 2 fibers, subtract 8 sugar alcohols. So that's 8, 9, 10. So only 2 grams of net carbs, which is right here on the front if I had read it. 2 grams of net carbs per ice cream bar. Oh my gosh. Now, okay, this might be, oh, I'm reaching. Now, if you're buying a pint of ice cream versus the bars, you know, one might be a little bit easier versus the other to help control in terms of portions. However, let me do a demonstration here. Now, I really am falling upon myself to do this for you. I know, the things I do. Now, I could just hold this up, but no, I must take a bite, right? Shouldn't I? I should. See, I can't stop myself, you guys. Even having these pre-portioned, low-carb, sugar-free, yada yada, keto-friendly treats, even though I have just the 1 bar, portion controlled and everything, I seriously can't control myself around certain foods, and this might be one of them. I guarantee you, I must have a bite. Oh my God. Now I got a taste for this. I'm not gonna be able to stop. I'm gonna know these are in my freezer. Okay. And they're going to be calling my name. Now, the weird thing is, I'll just have to tell you, these are really good. Amen. I'm putting them back. But here's my problem. Even though these are portion controlled, keto friendly, low carb, low fabulousness, 2 grams net carb per. Once I know that they taste good and they're available in my freezer, I'm going to think about them all the time. They're going to call my name. It could be ugly, you guys. It could be ugly. Did I freeze again? Hopefully not. I'm trying to keep up. That way, if something happens, I can let you guys know. But you're right. These things can really cause trouble because if they're not at my house, I don't think about them or crave them. I'll just make like a Jell-O freeze or something more conducive to my lifestyle. I should say that. There's nothing wrong with these. But once I know or buy a package, it's like I get a little psycho. So everyone has a food like this, right? Tell me what yours is. Is it keto ice cream? Or is it something altogether? There's a lot of them. These 10 aren't, the list is not short, right? These are just 10 that I thought of today that I wanted to share. So that's that. Now, I talk about this whole issue a lot in the new book. It's Extra Easy Keto. 7 days to ketogenic weight loss on a low carb diet. And I basically walk you through the whole lifestyle in 7 days. Like day 1, here's all the topic and digest this information. Here's a little homework. Here's a little quiz. Here's a little activity. It's really interactive and fun. And then day 2, I get into a new topic and I break up the whole lifestyle into 7 days time. But this is one of the activities that I take you through is to think about all the dirty keto foods or keto-friendly foods that we like and figuring out a game plan on how you can best incorporate them into your lifestyle to still enjoy them, but not make yourself crazy and obsessive and then causing weight gain because you eat too much. So it's a key component. I feel like it's something that's been missing in some of my previous books. So I put this as a forefront issue in the Extra Easy Keto. That way you can get started strong, stick to it, and not have issues that cause you to, get frustrated and angry or potentially gain weight. So look for that in Extra Easy Keto. Woo, I'm talking fast today. I'm excited. Must have been that bite of ice cream, right? So which food is troublesome for you? I'm curious. Put that in the comments. Let's move on to another one. This one is number 4. This is Carbquick. Now, raise your hand. Have you tried Carbquick? Anyone? Do you love it? It's pretty fabulous, I'll tell you. I've made a lot of recipes with it. It's in some of my cookbooks. I know the owner. I've interviewed him on the Dirty Lazy Keto podcast, and I myself use it occasionally. I'm very cautious, though, around Carbquick because you can make, easy biscuits, waffles, pizza crust, pot pie, all sorts of yummy things that I used to eat a lot of and really abuse when I was almost 300 pounds. So I have to be really careful around this stuff. I can't necessarily make it willy-nilly. And the ingredients, they're kind of mysterious. And I'm not really sure how they make it so fabulous, but it does something to my weight where it kind of goes woo for a few days. So be aware of that. You can buy it on Amazon. Some of the Walmarts have it in store, not all. And, it's fun to have once in a while, but just be wary. For some, it can cause a lot of trouble. Tell me if you like Carbquick and if you've tried it before. Now, I know I'm saying keto friendly. So I want to let you guys know that I put together a video right after this. I'm going to link up after. It's called, What is Keto Friendly? What is keto friendly? And it dives into that topic deeper. So that'll be right after this. Let's move on to number 5. Do I have chocolate in my mouth? Will you tell me? Okay, number 5 is funny, I guess. These are all funny. Alcohol. Hello. Cocktails. Beer, wine, sugar-free mixed drinks. Now, these are all keto-friendly once you choose the right kind of wine or malt beverage or low-carb beer or champagne or sugar-free cocktail, right? I have videos for all of those if you need ideas. But what happens sometimes when we drink alcohol that is low-carb and sugar-free? It's keto-friendly, but what happens to us sometimes? Who's going to say it? Who's the brave person? Who's the brave soul out there that's like, I'll tell you what happens. All of a sudden, after a drink or two, your inhibitions start changing, right? And your judgment might be clouded, potentially. And then all of a sudden, you're in the drive-thru, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to have a quarter pounder with cheese. I'm going to get French fries. Or, hey, guys, we can't be in the drive-thru because we've had drinks. Let's order a pizza. Let's have Grubhub delivered. And the next thing you know, you are enjoying all sorts of high-carb foods that you think are a great idea at the moment, but then the next day you're super mad and disappointed in yourself, and it can cause trouble. So be aware that even though cocktails, beer, wine, there's all sorts of low-carb, sugar-free options, just keep in mind that your judgment can be a little impaired, right? So you have to be aware of that. Know yourself. Let's move on to number 6, which is nuts. Now, a friend of mine, I live in nut country. I'm in the Central Valley, California, and we have beautiful almonds and walnuts, all sorts of deliciousness growing around us, a lot of farmers. And one of our friends gave us this giant bag of raw hulled walnuts. So good. Now, every time I walk by it, I kept reaching my hand in and grabbing a handful because we can have nuts on low-carb diets, right? On keto-friendly, dirty, lazy keto, you can have nuts. Just choose the right low-carb nut. But I'm going to say but. What do you think happened to me? Every time I walked by this dang bag, I had a handful, and then another handful, and then another handful. So much so that I finally put a little scooper upper that I stole from a restaurant that holds, like a small amount, a pre-measured amount. That way I could kind of monitor myself. So I had to rein it in. Does anyone else have that problem with nuts? I know myself really well, and in general, I buy my nuts in pre-portioned packets. Like here's some pistachios, here's some almonds, already sold in the pre-packaged smaller containers. That way I don't go overboard because it can cause weight gain if you have too much of anything in life. You're like, what? Is she serious? Yes, even keto-friendly foods, too much of them cause weight gain. It's true. That's why I recommend the Dirty Lazy Keto Pyramid for, it's in all the books. The Dirty Lazy Keto Food Pyramid. Let me see if I can reach down and find one. Oh, I've got to reach all the way down. Here it comes. Here it comes. Nope. Still digging. Nope, still digging. Sorry. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right. Oh, right in front of me. Here we go. Okay. So this is in all of the books. It's in the Get Started. It's in all the cookbooks. Refer to your Dirty Lazy Keto Food Pyramid if you'd like some suggestions on how to distribute your day's worth of carbs. Now, I also have these in magnets. So I often give these away during, during live videos and on YouTube. So make sure you're commenting on all my videos, and then I'll choose you. Potentially, you could say, pick me for a magnet. And then I'll mail you one out of the kindness of my heart. And you can put it right on your fridge and remind yourself, how many servings of nuts, says Stephanie? Stephanie says tier 1, just a handful, please. Like, that's it in a day to maximize your weight loss. It's not a rule. You can have more. But keep in mind, having more than that potentially could cause weight gain. That's just my experience. We're doing good, right? And furthermore, nuts in general, especially when they're put together in packaged products, like here's Keekanut. That's cute. Somebody should make that brand. Coconut keto clusters. These are also little deliciousness you can purchase with pecans, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. Keto friendly, but who can stop at one serving? Not me. When they're in a giant pouch like this, I have to really monitor myself. It's similar to that giant bag of walnuts. I have to, slow my roll, put these in small little Ziplocs or food storage containers, or better yet, Steffi can't buy these in the big pouches. I bought them for you to show you today, but I'm risking my life, people. So that is number 6, is nuts. So let's move on to number 7. Everything's working. You can hear me. It's all good. I froze here and there, but we're picking up. Okay. So number 7 is, I have another fun little show and tell. What is this? It looks like Pac-Man, but think again. What is it? Who can guess number 7? Crinkle, crinkle. It's a dog toy for one, but it's also a giant square of cheese. Now, similar to what I was talking about earlier with nuts, cheese and dairy is something I recommend that you limit and enjoy sparingly because, why? It's easy to overeat, right? And when you put cheese on everything, it can cause your weight loss to stop, to stall, and potentially to rear its ugly head into the gain category. So you want to be very careful of cheese. I don't recommend necessarily eating cheese for cheese's sake. Like, I'm going to eat some cheese. It's snack time. I'm just going to eat cheese. Because cheese is super easy to overeat and it can cause all sorts of issues. Constipation, weight loss stalls, and it's easy to overeat. Instead of buying cheese whips in a large container like that, I do urge you to buy the smaller containers, the small individual sizes, right? The little individual pouches, or make them yourself. Super easy. The recipe's in one of my cookbooks. And put it in small Ziploc bags. Use cheese as a topping as opposed to a food group that you just chow on all afternoon. I think the only exception for me would be a cheese stick, a mozzarella cheese stick. For me, that's a pre-portioned small amount of cheese, kind of like the cheese wisps. And I will use that as a snack. But in general, I tend to use cheese as a topping, sprinkled. I like shredded because it goes a little bit longer. Goes a long way, right? We're doing good? So what number are we on? Are you counting? Huh? Which one is the hardest so far? I'm curious. Did I forget one? You better tell me if I did. I only have space for 3 more. So let's go to number 8. Now, this is one I see a lot, not so much for me in my life, but I see this a lot in the Facebook group and just talking to others, is, the Starbucks issue. Now, I don't want to just throw Starbucks under the bus, but, it's the most popular, so let's do it. But any kind of gourmet coffees. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is this can cause a major gain or stall when you start ordering these a lot often, and the barista gets all crazy with her heavy whipping cream. And you're thinking, well, Stephanie, it's sugar-free, right? You ordered your whatevers and it's low carb and you saw it on a social media site. Somebody told you, oh, get this. And you're like, okay. And then you start getting them all the time and then you gain weight and you're mad and you're like, that's not fair. That's why I'm giving you the warning. So even though it's sugar-free and your barista is using, products like heavy whipping cream, which are low in carb, when you buy these giant, I want to say a bad word, giant A, I'm not gonna, because people get mad, but when you buy these jumbo, venti, whatever they're called, drinks, and there's so much of the heavy whipping cream inside, bloop, 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 before you know it, your weight loss could stall, it could reverse, it could turn into a gain. So keep that in mind. Monitor how much heavy cream is in there. That's not something that's just a freebie. You can't have a gallon of it and then still lose weight. Sad. Now you might write in the comments, I have it all day, every day. Good for you. We're all jealous. But for the most part, a lot of people have trouble when they have too much Starbucks or sugar-free drinks like that. Number 9, I want to move on to almond flour. Now here in the bag is an empty pouch of, just so I could show you. This is Costco brand almond flour. Superfine blanched is what I buy. It's the lowest net carb per serving. Now, I know not everybody eats almond flour. You might have coconut flour, lupin flour, chia seed flour. Tell us what you like. But my point of showing the almond flour is that in general, people use these low carb flour substitutes to make what? Anyone? What are you guys making with this, huh? With any of your low carb flours, what are you making? Tell me in the comments, don't be shy. What are we making? Low carb baked goods for the most part. Yes, we're making some fried foods, chicken tenders and stuff, but a lot of us are using the flour substitutes and some sugar-free sweetener of our choice, and we are putting together some deliciousness that can be hard to stop eating. So be aware that almond flour is not a free-for-all. If you are having it all day, every day, and all your dishes, and you're making baked goods and muffins and all the yummies that are good, right? They're low carb, they're keto friendly, but too much of any of that stuff causes issue. Keep in mind that almond flour is made from almonds. Almonds are nuts, and we just talked about nuts. It's the same thing. So if you're having one serving of nut a day, and it's in the form of almond flour, super. But if you're having a ton of almond flour and nuts and coconut flour and the other flours, then it might cause some issues. So keep that in mind. That could be an area to investigate. Now I want to go to number 10. You're like, yay, can we do number 10? We need some bells and whistles. We're excited about number 10. And this one is keto cereal. I'm so mean to these people. I know they're never going to call me and say, Stephanie, would you like to be on the box? Never. Because I'm always talking smack about the Wonderworks cereal. Now, I know it tastes good. Yeah, it does. They all do. All these kind of keto Pop-Tarts, keto cereals, keto waffles, keto frozen this, frozen that. All of these kind of convenience foods that they wrote keto on the front, they taste just like the real thing, right? Like the real thing, meaning the sugary, high flour, high carby thing. So for a lot of us, it triggers old behaviors. It triggers a lot of late night eating or unstoppable eating. You know, some people eat cereal late at night before bed or as a snack, and they're not even hungry. So if that sounds like you and your keto cereals or keto whatever's, baked goods, all that kind of convenience-y stuff, if it's becoming an issue and it's causing a stall or a weight gain, you know, go through the steps that I recommend in the Extra Easy Keto and figure out a way to either introduce it into your life in a way that doesn't sabotage you, or continue to enjoy it if it's not a big deal. It's up to you, and I'll help you through that process too in this book. Woo! Do we do good today? Do I get a gold star? I hope so, you guys. I'm super excited to share with you tricks and tips on how you can be successful on Dirty Lazy Keto. Now, if you aren't already, you can listen to all this stuff on a podcast, right? It's audio only. The podcast, it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. You can go to my website. I have links to everything there. And there's different episodes. They're kind of behind because it takes me a while to edit and send them here and send them there and do this and do that. So it's not like you're getting, you know, up to the minute information. They might be a few months behind what I'm talking about right now. Also on Instagram, you can check it out at Dirty Lazy Keto. I have giveaways and prizes and pictures of what I'm eating. And then every week I'm posting a new video on YouTube, the Dirty Lazy Keto at Stephanie Laska YouTube channel. And the podcasts are also there. But again, they're not like what I'm saying today. It takes a while to get today's information to process. So it takes a while. But it's going to be there once a week, a new video. And of course, don't forget all the Dirty Lazy Keto books. They're here to help you. They're here to support you. There's 4 cookbooks. 100 recipes in each one, and all of the net carbs are calculated for you. Okay? And they're not all with almond flour. I hate when people say that. I'm like, that's like 4 recipes. Move on. Go to the vegetables, go to the meats, go to the salads, go to the desserts, the soups. There's a lot to choose from here. And we talked about the restaurant guide already. We talked about the Extra Easy Keto, the new book. And then, of course, the Get Started guide, which is my story. And I know everyone's tired of hearing me blab about how I lost the 140 pounds. So if you haven't already gotten your copy, Dirty Lazy Keto, Get Started Losing Weight While Breaking All the Rules. This is my personal journey and explains in great humor and sometimes tears, what got me to this point. And there's a lot of takeaways here. It's a very thorough book. And that is a USA Today bestseller. All the books you can get at your local library. So don't ever complain and say, oh my gosh, so expensive. Go to your library. You can request it. These books are all over the world. In Canada, Australia. I have it translated into Czechoslovakian. Seriously, Australia, did I say Australia? England, you can get these books anywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you like to shop for books. So I'm super excited, you guys. You did a great job today. I'm going to give you a huge round of applause. And don't forget, the next video is going to be what is keto friendly. So you can just hang out right here, and then I'll have that click next. So thanks for watching and listening. Give yourself a huge, huge round of applause. Round of applause, round of applause.